Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simsport Racing for Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4. And I never thought I'd be saying this, but Season 2, first of 6 rounds. Alex Goldschmidt and Steve Proudly back once again. Steve, well, Season 1 was a blinder. We're now on to a 6-round calendar over the next 6 weeks. And first up, the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli is the first round of 6 over the next 6 weeks. It's been brilliant, just the anticipation for Season 2, the amount of sign-ups we've had. We've had nearly a 40-car grid sign-up for Season 2 after what was such a great taster of things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, good evening, Alex. Great to be back, although it's only been a very short break between the 2 seasons. As you rightly say, the interest has been big for this. We've extended it by an extra round this season, and as you rightly say, the sign-ups have been flooding in, as have the custom liveries, as you will see on screen very soon. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. The reverse grid worked well last season. Let's see how it works with 30 or 30 plus cars this season if the numbers maintain. Yeah,
definitely very much the case. And Aaron Walker was our inaugural champion with 210 points. Dave Hedges on 148, with Regan Mitchell the sole driver to try and muster that Maserati, rounded out the top 3 ahead of Stephen Haley and Michael Haffenden, one of the newest recruits to our community here at Simsport Racing, which effectively we call the place to race. Richard Emery, Adam Isailovic, Cody Pride, Chris Crossman and Gavin Utley rounded out the top 10 ahead of Kieran Vidago, Angus Martin, Mark Neutelings, Sam Spenkelink, the only driver to throw caution to the wind and take on the Alpine A110 GT4 with Tim Fulbrook, teammate to Michael Haffenden last season in the second of the HF Impala Ginetta G55s. But we have a brand new 6-week calendar, a second season of Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4. We have 6 rounds. First up, we have Misano this week. We have then the Circuit de Catalunya Barcelona on the 16th of September. Mount Panorama, aka Bathurst, the 23rd of September, which will class the halfway point of the season. Then Circuit Zandvoort on the 30th of September, with Kyalami in South Africa hosting the penultimate round. And WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, rounds out the 6-round calendar. And Steve, 6 fantastic tracks, some of which we already used in Season 1. And it felt like the right thing to do to bring back some of the circuits that provided us with such great action, as we are now underway with qualifying here at Misano. But we're going to have a lot of interesting side of things here for round 1, because it's qualifying for the first round. It's then a 45-minute encounter. Even Dastardly and Muttley we've got via Facebook. Oh, crikey. Catch the Pigeon, maybe, I think. Well, it's Catch the GT4 in this case. But, Steve, you know, we're sticking with the format that works. And obviously you gave Aaron Walker something to think about at Laguna Seca when you jumped in the seat for a GT4 experience of your own and gave, you know, I think definitely very much the case, showed good credence in the same car that Aaron Walker was driving that season. However, it is a different story, because Aaron Walker now has the number 1 on his Aston Martin Vantage V8 GT4, and his teammate in the Simply Race Racing team is none other than, I think it, just remind me who that is. That is Steve Haley, isn't it?
It is Steve Haley, yes. Obviously the guys are teamed up in the GT3s and the GT4s, so definitely the team to watch. And that is one of the new additions for this season. Is obviously it's a team championship as well as a drivers' championship this season. So you're not just racing for yourself, shall we say?
Where team orders will come into play, let me guarantee you of that. So we're just over halfway, just over half of the 10-minute qualification session to go. Steve Haley in the 24 Aston Martin is leading the way on a 1-minute 42.303. Daniel Jim in the 71 is in the Alma Reparto Corse, and my Italian accent is going to be tested, I think, a little bit like we found out in Season 3 GT3. Aaron Walker in 3rd. Then we've got Garland, Smith, Haffenden, Chris Crossman on YouTube saying, loving the custom liveries. So we've got Alan Garland, who's made his return, I understand, Steve. He's racing in the 101 Ginetta, the fastest paced Ginettas so far. We've got Rich Smith, who you said has been getting to grips with the 718 Cayman. Michael Haffenden and Tim Fulbrook have switched to the BMW M4, a car that Chris Crossman did actually use to quite good effect, I might add, in Season 1. We've then got Adam Isolovic, who's switched to Mercedes this time. Aaron Martin Pilkington from Team Fordzilla has a teammate in the form of another Team Fordzilla driver, Desmond Fitzpatrick, who joins us in the sister car. And Chris also says that Alan is a fast guy. Glad to see him back racing the Simsport. And I think, Steve, we can both echo that sentiment.
Yeah, I think I was saying that to you pretty much off air, wasn't I, Alec? You know, he's a great guy, great racer, very clean racer, very fast racer, and very consistent, and certainly very difficult to beat. If you're behind him, you need to be a lot faster to get past him because he's a wily old fox. But yeah, there's a few drivers making the shall we say, the return to the GT4s that did 1 or 2 races last season, but then had to drop out for various reasons. They watched the streams, they saw the close battles, and they've decided that they're going to come back for Season 2. One of those is Chris Pinchbeck, another one Ranjiv Kelsey. They're definitely both 2 drivers that have come back to the GT4 paddock just because of the great racing we did have last season.
Well, look at it from this perspective. The top 20 covered by just over 1.85 seconds as we head into the last 3 minutes of qualification. At the moment, Daniel Jim is now by 12 thousandths of a second on provisional pole for the 45-minute encounter here at Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli, named after the late MotoGP racer who unfortunately died in Sepang back in late 2011. Steve Haley now goes top on a 141.928. He is absolutely wringing the neck of that Aston Martin right now, Steve.
Yeah, Steve certainly got to grips with the Aston Martin. I know it's not the car that his teammate would have potentially chosen. Aaron's having to sort of make the best of it, and he certainly is in 3rd place at the moment with just Daniel Jim between them. Rich Smith, all the practice paying off for him. He's holding 4th at the moment. As we see, Regan Mitchell's just slotted into 5th, pushing Aaron Martin Pilkington down to 6th, but it's good to see Aaron's having a good qualifying session so far, and Alan Garland up into 7th at the moment, and like you say, the top 9 all within a second, and even the top 10 is only just outside that second. Very, very close.
Yeah, one of the biggest differences, as Steve said earlier, we have a teams championship this time around, and we do have one member of the Express Team UK vehicles out there at the moment. Mark Brandenbury in the 75 sends his regard from Dorset, but he said he will be back next week, whereas Rhys Hodgins in the 77 Audi is going to be with us, as now Stephen Haley is the only driver to go sub 1 minute 42. Richard Emery in the KC Racing 115 Audi R8 LMS GT4, being followed by the 626 of Aaron Martin Pilkington, who's rounding out the top 4 positions. There is Rhys Hodges in the 77 Audi, currently rounding out the top 12. And what I'm loving about this is the fact that a lot of people have been able to provide custom liveries, and just to see them in action is absolutely brilliant here.
Yeah, it just adds little something different to the to what you're seeing. I mean, it is great. I mean, there's the official Simsport livery going around with Christopher Pinchbeck. We've got Simply Races livery with Aaron and Steve Haley. Some of the guys have just put a livery on just for fun. You know, it's not respective of a team. It's just something they've designed and they've enjoyed doing it. And like I say, it just gives us something different to look at, and it just brings a whole new thing to the track. And it's great to watch on the streams.
Well, speaking of Mr. Pinchbeck, speak of the devil, and he doth appear. There he is in the number 43 Porsche, rounding out the top 16 positions, which are covered by just under 1.5 seconds, as Tim Fulbrook jumps from what was 16th up to 10th. And that was a great time from the BMW, the 862. Obviously, both him and Michael Haffenden last time out used the Ginetta G55 GT4s, but decided on some good old Munich machinery. this time around. Now, that is it. Time is up for qualification. Looks like Regan Mitchell's going to settle for 6th position. Aaron Walker, who now, instead of the 99, has the number 1 on his car. He has pitted 0.336 seconds behind Stephen Haley. Daniel Jim in the number 71 got close, and he has decided to pit. There is Michael Haffenden, as there is Angus Martin, I believe, just behind in the in one of the other HF Impala affiliated cars, let's say. It looks like he is under HF Impala, but yeah, great to see that they've got a 3-man crew, and I think he's just letting Angus get past. So Haley looks like he's taken pole position on that one. Jim in 2nd. Aaron Walker, Cody Pride in the 701, and he was running in the Porsche. He's decided to switch to the Mercedes for this time around. There's Gavin Utley. Does he improve from 22nd position? I don't think that's the case, unfortunately.
No, but I mean, just look at that, Alex. I mean, it's top 25, all within 2 seconds. So it's pretty good, really. I mean, even if you go down to 28th place, 2.5, that's not a bad showing. Because don't forget, we've got amateurs and we've got pros in here. So you know, as ever, Simsport community, we've got such a wide field of talent, and you know, all the lads will help each other out. But yeah, some really good times in there.
Yeah, which includes Richard Pixley. Now, you would normally see him in GT3s in one of the Emil Fry Jaguars, but Stephen Haley is our pole sitter for the first of 6 rounds. Obviously, we will work with a reverse grid format. Daniel Jim in the 71 will line up alongside on the front row. Then it's Aaron Walker and Cody Pride in the 1 and the 701. And this is where Aaron Walker, I think, is going to get a bigger test than what he had last season, because he was the one that was striding forwards. Now that everyone's sort of balanced the ledger a little bit, you know, you've seen like Adam Isolovic ran with the Chevy last time. He's now switched to the Mercedes. I think the Merc is going to be, you know, if you've got people like Adam, and then you've also got Regan Mitchell switching to that car, you know that these guys are going to push forward. And let's not forget that Regan also runs the GT3 version in season 3, which has got Spa-Francorchamps 2-hour endurance this coming Sunday. So yeah, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I mean, for those watching at home, you can see that Martin Pilkington in 6th ahead of Rich Smith, Regan Mitchell, Richard Pixley, Charlie Crossland round out the top 10. Steen Pasbont in the 444 is ahead of Tim Fulbrook, who completes row 6 ahead of Dominic Tower, Adam Isolovic, Reese Hodges, Michael Haffenden, John Aegis, Christopher Pinchbeck, Ranjiv Kelsey, and Angus Martin in the 863 BMW running at the top 20. But as you said, Steve, 2.5 seconds covering that amount of drivers. That is incredibly crazy for this, isn't it?
It is. I mean, and obviously we've been on the practice servers, we've been talking on Discord, and I was having a chat with Aaron just last night, and he wasn't going to run with the number 1 plate on his car, but he said, to be fair, things are getting so competitive now, I'm going to run with number 1 because I may not get a chance to have it on the car again. So you know, he's taken that opportunity. But as you say, I mean, we saw him in the second race of last season where he started on the back end of the grid and he made it through all the way to the front to win. Now, would he do that with a 29 car grid? Not to mention the amount of cars, but how close they are on the times as well. I think this season is certainly going to be a lot tougher than last season. I don't think there's going to be anyone running away with the title, shall we say, quite like Aaron did last year. Last season. Last season.
Yeah. Well, effectively, it is last year. Well, it is last season. But one of the biggest things you say about the tough test, he's in a different machine altogether, because obviously both him and Stephen Haley run as teammates in GT3, and Aaron got the choice of car. But now it's Steve's chance to have something that he would like to drive, and he really did show us what the GT4 Aston Martin is quite clearly capable of. And now that they've partnered up, I think it's sort of like boot on the other foot, and let's see what happens with Aaron this season. But I think there's
They're both very capable drivers, though. You know, that's the thing, Alex. They are both very capable, and they can jump from car to car and still be pretty competitive. And the thing with Aaron and Steve, I like, as many of the drivers on the grid, they do put the time in practicing. And when I say time, we're talking hours. And they use all the tricks they can. They use Motec, you know, to set things up to do it properly, and they spend a lot of time doing that. And then obviously the fact that Steve ran the Aston last season, he's got a lot of base settings for it that they can start with, you know, so they've got a starting point. So yeah, it's difficult, and it is Steve Haley's choice, and possibly wouldn't have been Aaron's choice. I think he'd have run with the Porsche, but yeah, it's good to see that, you know, the rest of the field have had chance to shake up and choose cars. I mean, Mr. Fulbrook and Mr. Haffenden, I'm surprised they've gone with the BMW, because I don't think it's the easiest car to extract everything out of. It's a fast car, but it's not the fastest car at all tracks, so definitely be a challenge. Aaron Martin Pilkington, it's good to see he's stuck with the KTM, and when I spoke to him it was probably a week or so ago about that, he said that, you know, he wanted to stick with it. He felt the car was coming to him. He was getting used to it. And of course, you know, 5 rounds is a relatively short championship for last season, so he's just feeling his way with it. So maybe we'll see some stronger results from him this season.
Well, just have to respond to a couple of YouTube comments at the moment. Yes, good luck with that lost logo. Just keep it under your hat, all right. Secretly watching from work. And I have to say, mille grazie, Giuseppe Massey. Guys, have to say, your live quality and commentary, it's absolutely awesome. You're doing a super job. Love you. Mille grazie is all I have to say on that one. But we'll go to a brief video, because very, very soon we'll get the first race underway of the season. Well, I think we managed to fill all that time, because we're about to get the formation lap underway.
You can put that one down to me, Alex. I can talk when I need to. I just need to say before we do get going, Mr. Mark Raddenbury, who is not with us this evening but will be next week, is on holiday, and on his first day of his holiday, he's proposed to his partner, who said yes. So congratulations to Mark. He's got engaged today. I'm just hoping it doesn't affect the amount of time on the sim, Mark. Really concerned me, but congratulations.
Yes, many congratulations. And Chris Crossman says, hopefully I'll get time to do some of the GT4 races this season. Chris Crossman, get your backside back into this.
Absolutely.
Please, mate.
We need drivers of Chris's standard and talent back on the grid, definitely.
I wonder if he's not going to choose the BMW next time, but we are underway with the formation lap. 45 minutes. Air temperature 18 degrees Celsius, 24 degrees track temperature. Stephen Haley leads the field around this fantastic circuit at Misano, with Daniel Jim in the it's all changing around at the moment. Daniel Jim in the 71 Aston Martin, so it's an Aston Martin front row, but Aaron Walker is not part of it. Cody Pride in the 701 Mercedes will be alongside him. Then it's Alan Garland in the Ginetta with Aaron Martin Pilkington, who, as Steve said, wants to get to grips with the KTM. And by putting it P6 on this only qualification session of the season, we go reverse grids as of round 2. Next time out at Barcelona in a week's time, we've got Rich Smith, Regan Mitchell, Richard Exley, Charlie Crossland, Steen Paspont, Tim Fulbrook, Dominic Tower, Adam Isalovic, Reese Hodges, John Aegis, Michael Haffenden, Christopher Pinchback, Ranjiv Kelsey, and Angus Martin rounding out the top 10. 29 GT4 cars. Steve, all I'm going to say is let's hope we all get safely through turn 1.
Well, I think if we're going to do it all season, this is the night to do it, because they've qualified relative to pace, so should be good. But having said that, last season there was some extremely good driving. The races got cleaner and cleaner as the guys got used to each other. The stewarding sessions got, shall we say, less busy. So yeah, we've got a good field of drivers. Let's hopefully they'll get through that first couple of corners and turn into a fantastic race.
Indeed. Let's see what this brings to us here in Italy at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli. Haley and Jim will control the pace. They come round Curva Misano. Looks like we could be under green flag conditions very shortly, but it's about who blinks first. Who makes the move to put the pedal to the metal as we are about to get underway here at Misano for Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4 Season 2. 6 rounds over the next 6 weeks. Looks like they're getting up to a full sprint, a full head of steam as we're waiting for the mushroom cloud to explode, and it does. Great start there by Steve Haley from pole position as they head into the Variante del Parco for the first time. Jim in second place. As it looks like Cody Pride behind Aaron Walker for the moment, as everyone is 3 abreast going through the bottom end of the top 20.
Looks like it's relatively clean though, Alex. Looks like some good driving standards there, so well done, boys. Hopefully we haven't missed anything, but yeah. Oh, as I see Mr. Pinchbeck, I believe, has just been turned. I'm just watching on my own stream there, but...
yeah, you're definitely right. Yeah, it's well called that, Mr. Proudly, as now the drivers make their way towards the far part of the circuit. So Haley from Jim, Walker, Pride, Garland, Martin Pilkington in the leading KTM crossbow. Chris Crossland already up into 11th position, but he's been passed by HF Impala's number 862 BMW M4 of Tim Fullbrook, who's looking to move up the order quickly. So just keeping an eye on what's happening behind. Paspont, Tower, Haffenden, Isalovic round out the top 15 positions. Let's have a look at the replay. Yeah, and that was Angus Martin that turned Chris Pinchbeck around, and then someone else had nowhere else to go as a direct result.
Yeah, that was Ranjiv Kelsey in his own skin there, the champ skin. He obviously had nowhere to go as Chris turned in. I believe Angus was already down the inside of him, in my humble opinion, shall we say. But it's good to see the rest of the field now, nose to tail as Steve Haley's trying to stretch a gap, but I don't believe Daniel Jim's letting him, and Aaron Walker's clinging on there, as well as Cody Pride in 4th place. Alan Garland obviously trying not to let go as well, as we see Rich Smith in the shake and bake car.
Yep. If you ain't first, you're last, as they say in Talladega Nights. Don't worry, I know that film very well, and I do like the fact he's put on his team name Ricky Bobby Racing. I wonder if he's going to get a teammate that has Cal Norton Jr. racing alongside. That would be one for the books, wouldn't it? Bring a bit of film jocularity here to Simsport Racing as we're on board with Daniel Jim, looking towards the inside of Stephen Haley for the lead of the race. 2.5 minutes down, 42 plus minutes still to go. And one of the key things here is that because of the amount of sign-ups that we've had, Steve, we've had such a wealth of different talent coming into this. And that's what's made GT4, I think, that little bit more attractive for those that want to get started with Simsport Racing. Don't forget, you can go to simsport-racing.com. Once again, we're back in partnership with Simply Race. A great big thank you to Mike Yao, our broadcast director, bringing these fantastic shots here on the cars here at Misano.
Daniel Jim was just maybe showing his nose on the inside there, but Steve just wasn't he's not gonna give it that easy. He's a difficult man to pass. The front 4 are just slightly breaking away. I believe Garland's just dropped. When I say breaking away, Garland's just down at a second behind, so it's not exactly massive gap, but yeah, they are just breaking away ever so slightly, as you can see on the screen. But yeah, Steve Haley's certainly he's under pressure, but he's dealing with it. And as ever, Aaron Walker, we've seen this so many times, where he's sat there waiting for the mistake, just keeping the pressure on, as Daniel Jim's obviously looking to put the pressure on Steve Haley.
Yeah, it looks like Aaron Walker has just put in a lap time that is 0.3 of a second quicker than the driver in second, Daniel Jim, in the 71 Alma Reparto Corse Aston Martin. A 142.243. That was exactly 0.3 of a second dead quicker than Daniel Jim, and also a 142.573 set by Stephen Haley. So the battle for the top 3 quite clearly on. It is an Aston Martin 1-2-3, followed Cody Pride in the 701 Mercedes AMG GT3. Alan Garland still, well, he's actually running quicker than Aaron Martin Pilkington by about, just having a look here, just under 0.2 of a second quicker than the KTM. And here is Regan Mitchell in the... we thought his livery in the Maserati for season 1 was bright. Look at the colours on that for the 7th place, number 69. Oh, he's going to go for it. Oh, that was brazen going through Corvone. And that is where you need some proper gumption to try and throw it up the inside. And when you think about it, Steve, they're pushing over 150 to 160 miles an hour through that corner.
I'm not sure it's gumption or just big kahunas to do that, to be fair.
Well, I was thinking that, but that's probably a word that I would use for next time out at Spain.
Well, yeah, you see, you're just a little bit more talented than I am with the old linguistics. But I mean, I'm just looking at the timings now, and we've got Alan Garland's just dropped into the 42s on his last lap. So we've got the top 5 lapping in the 142s at the moment, and then outside we're in the 43s. But certainly the top 4, top 5 are setting the faster pace at the moment, which is it's going to open up that gap. But they're all keeping each other very, very honest, and certainly keeping the pressure applied. The top 3 definitely there, as we can see. The timings are very, very close.
I think Michael Haffenden's making some moves up the order, because he's catching Richard Pixley in the number 7 Ginetta. So the 2 HF Impala teammates in the 861 of Fullbrook and the 862 of Fullbrook and the 861 of Haffenden, they're running out the top 12, with Pixley being the Ginetta in a meet in a BMW sandwich, as we now go on board with Aaron Walker, still keeping within striking distance of Daniel Jim in the 71 Aston Martin. And it's pretty much interlocked as Stephen Haley goes even quicker than anybody else at 142.093. And one of the biggest things here, Steve, is that he has clean air. Oh, Walker right up close and personal going in towards the approach into Curva del Carro. Walker could have had a real good run going through Corvone and into the double right just off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not quite sure where to look at the moment, because I'm also just keeping an eye on the other battles, and it looks like Pilkington and Mitchell are really going hammer and tong as well. They've just gone side by side through a few corners. Yeah, it's great racing. It's just knowing where to look at the moment. And as you say, the lap times, I mean, Steve Haley's done a 42.093, so he's knocking on the 41s at race pace, which is a pretty awesome pace to be going at.
Yeah, I think, Mark Gradenbury has said, thanks, Steve, reference us finding out the news about his engagement to his beloved. So many congratulations. And we'll look forward to having you back with us next week, Mark, in your Express Team UK Audi. As his teammate, Reece Hodges, in the 77, is completing the top 15. And he's not too far behind the number 444 Ginetta of Steen Passport, and there is Reece Hodges, and he's got Adam Isalovic. Now, I thought Regan Mitchell's car was colourful. Adam went with just a plain white livery for the Camaro last time out, and he's gone absolutely hammer and tongs on the vinyl wrap on that Mercedes. I've never seen anything so colourful, but it's great to see that the drivers have got an opportunity through the custom liveries to have a freedom of expression, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it looks he's done an absolutely fantastic job on that. It's one of the best looking liveries out there. It's really nice and very talented. It's quite different to some of the other liveries that we see. Now, just last season that we saw with Aaron Walker, the Porsche was, one of the strongest cars on the field. But I think we've got seven Porsches on the grid tonight, and Rich Smith is in 8th place in the Porsche. I'm just wondering if he can do anything and get a bit further up the field, because I don't think it's that the Porsche is a weak car. I'm expecting to see it a little bit higher than that, and Rich has certainly put a lot of practice in, and he's been getting some good lap times. So maybe over the course of the next 36 minutes, he's going to make some places up if he can.
Well, I mean, in some respects, GT4 in its own right does have a BOP system very much like GT3 to an extent. So some cars will factor in, a lot better in the twisty stuff like we saw with the Ginetta last season. That was a car that I think was very much a dark horse. And when we're seeing the likes of, Pixley and Passport running in the top 15, but then when you saw the efforts from Michael Haffenden and Tim Fullbrook when they were running the Ginettas last season, it was a very, very different kettle of fish. And now, because we've got more drivers who are probably more used to the cars that they've now picked, things have really, really changed not in the favour of Aaron Walker, but I think the rest of the field, as we saw through that qualifying session, that 2.5 seconds covering pretty much the majority of the field. That's how close it's now become for season 2, because everyone wants to get that number 1 on their car. As here is Pasquant going up the inside of Dominic Tower in the 22 Porsche, and looks like the number 444 has gotten side by side, but into the next corner will get the inside run through Cordovone. The Ginetta and the Porsche side by side. And let's see if Pasquant gets the move done going into Curva del Carlo. Yep, very much the case. Had a good run, but both of them run wide. And that allows Reese Hodges to get into the mix.
That's a good opportunistic move, was that, by Reese. Well done there, well spotted. Those two guys side by side, absolutely awesome driving, but it just opened up the door for Reese, and he didn't need inviting twice. He took it and he went, and that was great driving.
Yeah, and then Admir Salovic is coming into this, as is Angus Martin in the 863 HF Impala BMW M4 GT4. Obviously, the biggest news in the GT world was that the 2022 M4 GT3 has actually been unveiled under a very, very cloak and dagger livery, I must say, BMW Motorsport. So we'll see what that looks like in Rahal Letterman Lanigan colours. I know there's been a bit of a discussion about the front end of that car, but the M4 in its own right in GT4 livery, which is the current road-going version as of 2018, still cuts a very good shape, doesn't it, Steve?
It does, my friend. I'm just watching on the timing screens. Alan Garland and Cody Pride there were within a tenth of each other. I believe they're nose to tail at the moment, so it's good to see Alan's return to Simsport, and he's lost none of his fighting edge. He's certainly taking it to the top 4 at the moment, and I believe he's trying to stick a pass on Cody Pride as we speak, as we can just see there.
Oh yeah, trying to go through Cordovone, and Alan looked to the outside, and Cody was wise to it, but they're heading into the right-hander before Curva del Carro, and Garland nearly makes the move up the inside. Pride was just ahead of it, but they're going to head into Curva Misano. So one of the good things for Alan Garland now is that if he gets a better run, and just look at Cody Pride, he looks a bit scrabbly coming out of the corner into Curva Misano, and now you can just see how much more precise Alan Garland is. As I saw that Regan Mitchell was going through Curva Misano a little bit wide as well in the Mercedes, but Garland is like a man possessed right now. He wants to show these young upstarts saying, well, I'm back and I'm not going to take any prisoners in the meantime.
Yeah, that Ginetta is looking very, very pointy in the corners. He's just going where he points it, and it's certainly in this twisty section he's making all the time up, and he's glued to that rear bumper. The Mercedes just does stretch its legs a little bit on the straight, but if Alan can keep tucked up like that, he's in with half a chance, and he's certainly keeping Cody honest and putting him under pressure. Yep,
very, very true there, Steve. As looks like the gap between Daniel Jim and Aaron Walker is quite literally dropping ever so slightly. It's about 0.3 of a second as we head to the number 1 Aston Martin from Simply Race Racing Team, and the gap now that Steve Haley has got is a little bit more than Daniel Jim would want at this particular moment in time. It's around about 1.8 seconds. So Steve Haley has now started pulling away at the opportune moment here, Steve.
Yeah, I believe Aaron Walker's having a little bit to do with that, as he's obviously keeping Daniel Jim under very close scrutiny and putting him under a lot of pressure. So I think there's a bit of defensive driving going on to a degree, which is, like I say, working to the favour of Steve Haley, who's just putting those lap times in. He still hasn't beat his 42.093, but his last lap was a 42.4, and Daniel Jim's was a 43.07. So he's certainly stretching the gap.
Yeah. So we've had, I think we've had Mark Ranbury saying, "What's happened to Ollie Geel?" is his question.
I think that's a different show.
Well, Ollie was actually he was actually on the grid for Misano in the number 38 Porsche Cayman.
He's down in 26th place, I believe.
Okay, so that's probably why we can't see him on the timing on the left-hand side.
But he's in 26th place, running in very close attention to Mark Neutlins. He's 0.3 of a second behind him, so he's having a scrap.
Yeah, with someone who said, whose basically team name is, if it ain't Dutch, it ain't much racing. Well, we did have a bit of a lost in translation conversation about that earlier, didn't we, Steve?
We did, and you've just fallen into the trap of mentioning the team name. You see, Mark named it like that because he knew he'd get his 5 minutes of fame again.
Yeah, well, exactly.
That's all he's after.
Yeah, well, all I'm going to say is Dave Hedges will remember that from last season. Hey, Dave. But that's a four-way scrap over what is that's going to be Ranjith Kelsey, Ollie Gill, Richard Emery. So that's a good four-way scrap, which Neutelings is leading at the moment in 23rd position. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to give our drivers that amount of little bit of 5 minutes of fame, wouldn't you say, Steve?
Now it makes it all worthwhile, and it gets a smile at the end of the day, even if they give me some abuse about it. I can see Mr. Haffenden on the timing screens. He's under pressure at the moment. He's having a good old battle in 12th place and putting on a pretty good performance in that BMW, it has to be said, although his teammate Tim Fulbrook is up in 10th, so he's #1 driver tonight for that team.
Yeah, that's very true. He's about, what was it? He's about 5.1 seconds up on his teammate. But, yeah, Michael Haffenden trying to close on Richard Pixley with Steam Passport in the 444 Stealth Black Ginetta G55. Some drivers deciding to have a bit more colour and some deciding, yeah, I'm just going to go for a bit of matte black or satin black.
Yeah, it's quite nice, is that Ginetta, to be fair. I quite like it. It's subdued, but it's effective. It's nice, and doesn't it look small up against the BMW?
I do like the fact that all three of the HF Impala cars have got slightly different variances on their liveries, you know, with Michael Haffenden having the dark black, Angus Walker having there's the move for second. So Daniel Jim has been passed by the current defending champion who's just started. Oh, so I got told he's just made a mistake, Daniel Jim, so that must have been an unforced error. I'm sure that if we might have a replay coming soon, we'll have a look at that as Haffenden coming under pressure once again from Passpont as he now puts the headlights and fog lights, the spotlights ablaze on that BMW M4 GT4. But yeah, as I was saying, Angus Martin has a lot more light blue around his BMW in the 863. So here is a replay. Oh, now that was the back end of it, that Jim did actually have an unforced error, so might have gone into that corner a bit too hot there, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely, but you can see now that that's unleashed Aaron Walker, who's just done a 42.2 against Steve Haley's last lap of... sorry, he's done a 42.9. Steve Haley did a 42.6, so he's definitely he's up in the pace again now that he's got some clear air. Daniel Jim's obviously had that mistake in that last lap, so his was a 43.8. So yeah, he'll do his best now to hang on to the back of Aaron Walker and stay in the top three, I would imagine, and maybe try and battle back for second. We've seen Alan Garland now still tagged onto the back of Cody Pride, still within half a second, and keeping him under pressure, keeping him honest, and putting on a good show in the Ginetta for his first race back.
Yep, so top 20 with 26 minutes and 55 seconds remaining on the clock as we still have a look at this battle between Cody Pride and Alan Garland. So it's Haley from Walker, Gin rounding out the top three, Cody Pride and Alan Garland, who you see battling on your screen. Looks like there's a little bit of a run wide there by Cody Pride and Alan Garland looking to go for fourth position. He's trying to get alongside the Mercedes, might have the inside line. Going through the corner, he's got a good run. This time around, it's going to be tricky to see, but I think Cody Pride has just held on to that, heading into Cova del Carro.
I think the taller gearing on the Mercedes just helped him recover that mistake there, and Alan obviously just didn't quite have the legs to pull that pass off, but absolute fantastic effort and very brave move. Both of them holding it flat through there to try and gain the advantage.
Whilst they're battling away, this give Regan Mitchell the number 69 Mercedes, who's about a second, 1.7 seconds adrift. Then it's Aaron Martin Pilkington, one of the two Fordzilla drivers, as we look at the replay here. And that was a briefest of replay. We got Andrew Ambro in the 31 Aston Martin just briefly on screen there. let's just have a look. Now, this is Andrew Ambro, and we've got one of the Porsches behind. That looks to be possibly Gavin Utley, I think. Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit of a battle there, but with just over 25 minutes. So we got Aaron Martin Pilkington in 7th, Rich Smith in 8th, Charlie Crossland and Tim Fulbrook round out the top 10. Richard Pixley, Michael Haffenden, Steen Passport rounding out the top 13 positions ahead of Reese Hodges. Adam Isolovic as Andrew Ambro is being pressurised by Gavin Utley in the number 14 Porsche. As Ambro makes a mistake, Utley up the inside to take 20th position. A nice move there, made sure of the opportunity to get past. As again, that gearing of that Mercedes is just helping Cody Price. It's like it's the 701's get out of jail free card with that long gearing again.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's frustrating, obviously, for Alan. I can imagine, he's up and all over him in the braking zones, in the corners, but when it comes to sticking it on him on the straights, he can't do it. Cody's just got that few tenths more on the straights. He's got a couple of more mile per hour to go. But Alan's not giving up, and he won't give up. As you say, Regan Mitchell's just closing ever so slightly. His last lap was over half a second quicker than the guys in front, so he's definitely closing the gap. And we've seen Regan so many times. The race usually comes to him. He seems to get faster as the race goes on, and certainly he's keeping it clean, consistent, and he's on the back of these two if they keep battling like that.
Well, it seems like that someone has just said, "Come on, Aaron, teammate, schmeen mate." Hunting mode for Mr. Haley, says Ames Walker on YouTube. And we're on board with Aaron at the moment. And gap now down to just under 3 seconds between the two teammates. However, Daniel Jim in the number 71 Aston Martin not wanting to let Aaron Walker get away as he closes up deep into the braking zone as they head into Curva del Carro. But, and there's a touch from behind now. What now? I wondered what that was there. Was it a camera angle judder, or was it a touch from behind from Daniel Jim is the biggest answer.
Not quite sure, to be honest. If we get a replay, maybe we'll see a conversation with Aaron after the race, but he's kept it straight and true.
Oh dear, broadcast director making a slight misjudgment there, but no, Mike does a really good job. But you can see there now that was nigh on a little bit of Rubbings racing there, because Daniel Jim got a real good run on Aaron Walker, and that was going on the approach into Curva Misano, which they're going to get through now. So Aaron Walker's got an advantage, but it's not much. I mean, it was 3.5 tenths of a second, 0.430. And whilst these two have been battling, again, Stephen Haley has managed to get away. But Regan Mitchell, in the meantime, and Alan Garland have both got past Cody Price. So I'm wondering, was there a bit of a mistake from the 701? Because
I'm not quite sure, yeah. I mean, you beat me to it. I was just watching that happening on the timing screens as we were discussing Aaron's, race. And, it's all sort of changed with also Mr. Pilkington hard on the back of Mr. Cody Pride as well. Yes,
so looks like there's been a change at the bottom part of the top 10. Because look at Tim Fulbrook and Michael Haffenden. They're now 8th and 10th respectively. Richard Pickley is being cheered on by Jaguar GT3 teammate Daniel Parker on YouTube at the moment. Pixley up to 9th. Come on. That's what we like. We like people to just sort of show us who they're supporting. So please feel free to get interactive with any of the streams. We're on the Simsport Racing Facebook group. We're on the Downforce Racing, Virtual Reality Racing Club, Let's Race Facebook pages as well, amongst other streams. So please feel free to tell us who you're rooting for. 21 minutes and 15 seconds to go. And if I'm honest here, Steve, there are battles up and down the order. I mean, I'm seeing Passport versus Pickley, half a second adrift. And now Pixley's down into 11th position as Stin Passport now rounds out the top 10, having been passed. Well, I'm wondering what happened there, because Aaron Martin Pilkington still rounds out the top 7. He's closing on Cody Pride. Tim Fulbrook in 8th. Michael Haffenden. So it's an HF Impala BMW 8.9. And that is how... Look how close... Is that Tim Fulbrook? Not too far away. Now this is getting close, really, or is that Angus Martin? I think, depending on. Let's just have a look as they go into the final corner. No, that is Angus Martin. It was the light, the cyan, like turquoise Polestar Racing colour on the front bumper, because he's being lapped, and that's Charlie Crossland that he's battling with from Team Fordzilla in the respective colours. And I'm wondering if, I do know one of their colleagues, Cammy Sturch, who is also racing in multiple different championships. So good to have Team Fordzilla being represented by Aaron Martin Pilkington and also Charlie Crossland as well. And it looks like, we've got 3 KTMs from them as well. So a lot happening here in this race as we get into the last 20 minutes. And Steve, it's still all to play for.
Absolutely. As I say, the race is coming to a few drivers now. We're seeing some drivers finding the feet, finding the pace, and certainly, trying to gain positions on the track, as we're looking like we're going 3 abreast there.
That includes Chris Pinchbeck in the 76 Ricky Bobby Racing as all. Now that's a run wide there for Angus Martin. So that puts him behind Chris Pinchbeck, who now gets 17th as a result of that mistake from Angus Martin, who's looking to try and get past the Porsche. That's going through Corvone. So Pinchbeck, is definitely looking a bit racier, but Angus Martin looks to have got the job done once again.
Yeah, that's Rich Smith. We've got Angus Martin and Rich Smith, haven't we, there, that's in the Shake and Bake Porsche.
Oh yeah, so
Pinchbeck a bit further down the field in 18th.
He's about 5 seconds off of that battle, but Cody Pride definitely not being allowed to breathe, courtesy of Aaron Martin Pilkington in the 626, the number that he runs both here in GT4 Season 2, but also with the Oman by TF Sport Aston Martin, and he races in Season 3 GT3, which goes to Spa-Francorchamps for a 2-hour encounter this coming Sunday, the 13th of September. But 15 laps completed. Little bit of a run wide there by Cody Pride. Aaron Martin Pilkington towards the inside of the Mercedes. But the Mercedes, again, that tool gearing just seems to save its bacon when everyone else is trying to pull alongside. But in the twisty stuff, Aaron Martin Pilkington gets right up inside the Mercedes in the 626 KTM Crossbow GT4. And it looks like he's got the run up ahead of him, isn't he?
It was. I thought he was just going to try and come across Cody there to take the line away from him, but he just couldn't quite get a car's length in front to do that. So it looks like the gearing on the Merc saved Cody again, although he's run very wide there, and Aaron's going to keep it tight, and he's going to have the inside for this next corner, and that's it. Job done. Well done. That was
a brilliant move. But then the power of the Mercedes coming out of the corners, it's a very different animal to the KTM Crossbow, which is rear-wheel drive and mid-engine mounted, as opposed to the Mercedes, which is front-engine mounted and rear-wheel drive. And you can just see how quickly Cody Pride is closing on Aaron Martin Pilkington. They go into the Variante del Parco, but this time Martin Pilkington gets the inside line for the first part of it. Then Cody Pride seizes the opportunity. Back up the inside goes the KTM. What a great dice for 6th position as Aaron Martin Pilkington from Team Fordzilla once again keeps ahead of the 701 Mercedes-AMG GT4 of Cody Pride. Brilliant battle there.
Yeah, 1st place, 6th place, 10th place. These guys don't care. They'll battle for every single place on the track, and that was absolutely awesome. Really clean racing, very close. Neither guy wanting to give an inch, but never touched, didn't rub paint at all. Brilliant stuff.
Very reminiscent of Gary Paffers and Timo Glock battling at the Hockenheim ring at the season opener back in 2018 between BMW and Mercedes, when Mercedes took part in their last season after goodness knows how many years, over 2 decades in the DTM, and Mercedes went out in style, winning all 3 championships. I should know, I remember, because I was reporting on it that season. But you can just see now that Tim Fulbrook and Michael Haffenden, not too far away from each other, covered by, it's just over 2.8 seconds between the teammates.
Yeah, their satellite team, Angus Martin, in 16th place. He's having a good battle now. He's less than half a second off Crossland, who's I think about, well, he was a tenth of a second off Tyre, but that gap's opened up a little bit. But Angus Martin he's within 2/10 of Crossland now.
Well, we have to look at the battle now between 4th and 5th position between Alan Garland in the 101 Ginetta and Regan Mitchell in the number 69 Mercedes AMG GT4. Regan Mitchell last time around was 8/1000ths off of being exactly 2/10 of a second quicker than the number 101 Ginetta, and I just had this sense of foreboding that with just over 15 minutes of this race remaining, Regan Mitchell in that Mercedes has got a real good opportunity. I mean, let's not forget the battle between Alan and Cody earlier on this race as we got...
Yeah, Cody Pride's got a drive-through, unfortunately. So that'll be for track limits, and he'll have to take that in the next couple of laps. So that's going to scupper his race and drop him out. I would say drop him out of the top 10, which is really unfortunate because he's had a fantastic race, some great battles.
Well, I was actually just going to mention him about the battle between him and Alan. You know, we could see a repeat of what's been happening between Alan and Cody, and now happening between Alan and Regan, because Regan has been closing at a consummate rate of knots. You know, he's kept the lap times consistent as we head into the last third of this race. Haley's still leading, but Walker, I think, is trying to push in the number 1 Aston Martin, and he's only 2.8 seconds behind Steve Haley. Last time around, Steve did a 1:42.840. Aaron Walker was 12/1000ths off of being exactly 3/10 off, and again he's, oh my goodness me, a 1:42.747 from Haley, a 1:42.477 from Walker as Cody Pride goes into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty. Walker is definitely putting the pedal to the metal in this particular occasion.
Yeah, none of the drivers will give up until the checkered flag comes out. They'll keep pushing. To a degree, you know, you've got to wonder, is Steve Haley, has he lifted ever so slightly? Is he just pacing himself to get to the end, or is he still trying to go flat out? I think he'll still have something left in the tank. Aaron may get closer to him, but I'll be very surprised if he gets past him, to be fair.
So we're on to lap number 19 of this first of 6 45-minute races for Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4 Season 2. And it will be a reverse grid every single race from now on, as Charlie Crossland from Team Forzilla battling away with Dominic Tower in the 22 Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 MR Club Sport, and even that is a long mouthful even at this particular point in the evening. With that, kind of reminds me, Steve, of the remember when the Japanese brought out new models and there was so many badges on the back of it? I kept on thinking that car would run out of room when it came to the badging.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on a different note, Cody Pride, he's come out of the pits in 18th place. Now, what that does mean, obviously, he's going to be battling to try and make up a couple of places. But next week for the reverse grid, he's going to be a little bit further forward than the people he's been battling this evening. So that may be it will be an advantage for him next week, which is the beauty of these reverse grids. It keeps it all open and very, very interesting.
Yeah, Charlie Crossland looks to have gotten up the inside through Cover Tramonto on Dominic Tower, but through Curvone and into the Cover del Carro, it looks like the Porsche's got the legs on the KTM again. It's a flat 6 Boxer engine turbocharged, but that was very, very deep onto the brakes for Charlie Crossland, looking to catch, I think, Dominic Tower unawares there, and see as Tower actually puts the right rear wheel onto the grass heading into Cover Misano, as they both run a little bit wide coming out of the corner. 11 minutes and 44 seconds still to go. But if I'm completely honest here, Aaron Walker has been, my goodness, he's just absolutely nailing it at the moment. 1 minute 42.396 as Crossland again trying to force the issue with Dominic Tower. I think there was a little bit of a tag from front to rear bumper. Crossland to the outside of the Porsche, tries to get the cut back into the next one, and it's great to have 3 Team Forzilla drivers and that they're all learning. You know, Aaron Martin Pilkington has got the baseline set up, so effectively with the 3 cars that Team Forzilla are running in this championship here, Steve, that's a good sign for Crossland and also for the third member of their team, in the form of, I'm trying to remember now. God, crikey, there's so many different.
There is, and I mean, I think the thing to remember is there's a lot of guys. I mean, you know, a lot of guys racing tonight that it's the first time they've raced, and you know they're putting on an absolutely fantastic performance throughout the field. Not just the top 10 guys. It's looking pretty good through the whole field. Looking like there's been some close racing right down to 26th, 27th place, and all very clean, very fair, and most importantly of all, very respectful racing. So you know, long may that continue, and I'm sure it's only going to get better as the season ticks on. As each circuit is going to get better and better and faster and faster.
Yeah, Dominic Fitzpatrick is the third driver within that team, running the 127. As well, we've had a second drive-through, and that is for Milasinovic in the
Ranjiv,
999.
And Ranjiv
Kelsey
in car
Everyone's
47.
Getting. Oh.
I suppose it's that time in the race where you know the track limit warnings have been ticking over, and they've you know they've gained they've had their enough warnings now, and it's time for a drive-through.
Yeah, very much the case. Just
wondering if we've missed one with Rich Smith as well, as he's in the pits. Doesn't have drive-through next to his name, but he's in the pits.
I'm wondering if he's had damage. If he's had damage, because now, Rich is the only one to drive the Lexus RCF GT3 in ACC GT3 Season 3, which, as I said, I think it's round 7 this coming week at Spa-Francorchamps for a 2-hour endurance as we go on board. And that looks to be Stephen Haley. So some of the Simsport racers will also, that's his official YouTube account. So you can actually see he's using VR as opposed to a traditional screen, just seeing where the braking points are, and you can see the top left-hand side of your screens is exactly where his car is out on circuit as we get to the last 8 minutes and 43 seconds. But Steve Haley, at the moment, has been doing a fantastic job. He got away from the moment the lights went out over 35 minutes ago, and Steve is looking very, very comfortable indeed, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think it's a great feature to jump on the guys' streams, especially when they're in VR like this, and you can see the driver looking to the apex. He's looking in his mirrors. You know, he's just all over. He's never relaxing. He's on it, and he needs to be, because Aaron's got the gap down to less than 2 seconds now. You know, so he's certainly still trying, and there's around about 8 minutes left of the race. So tall order, but Aaron's not given up yet.
I would say I'll use the Jaws theme music around about now, but I'm just going to use this instead. Dum da dum dum. The sense of foreboding once again. But I think it just shows that with Aaron Walker, you know, you put him in a different machine, he's still going to rise to the challenge. I mean, the gap now down to less than 1.9 seconds. As Steen Paspont in the 444 Ginetta, keeping within.
Sorry, Alex, I will just say just a little bit before we get too far into the conversation, you were better with the language skills than you are the music skills, mate.
I'll stick to the day job. That's all it is. It's about the banter here on Simsport Racing. So come along and join the fun. Even with me being belittled by my co-commentator. It's all jesting, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to have a bit of fun, and that's what the community's all about. So please get involved. If you've got a sim rig, you've got a set of pedals and a steering wheel and a fairly good gaming PC and Assetto Corsa Competizione, why not join us at simsport-racing.com? But Paspont closing now on Haffenden. The gap was just over a second. It's now down to about around about 7.5 tenths. As Cody Pride now trying to get past Chris Pinchbeck. And we know for a fact here, Steve, that Chris Pinchbeck will give Cody Pride absolutely no opening whatsoever unless he gets an opportunity. No,
I mean, you know, Chris Pinchbeck, 16th place, doesn't do him justice. He's one of the, you know, he's a fast driver and he's a very skillful driver, is Chris. As I say that, a bit of contact there, but he managed to hold on to it. Cody, I believe, just, you know, he had the line, he held it, and Chris maybe wasn't quite aware that he was there, and no harm done. He's just lost a place there as Chris, but he'll now try and hang on to the back of Cody and keep going. But yeah, that just shows the talent in the field that Chris is down in 16th place. You know, he's a good driver in a very good field at the moment.
Yep, so we go back to the battle for 8th and 9th position between the 861 BMW of HF Impalas, Michael Haffenden and Steen Paspont in the 444 Ginetta G55. Looks like they've got a McLaren, which is just up ahead. That's one of the back markers, so not many drivers choosing the 570 GT4 this time around, and I'm wondering who that might be. Steve, can you shed any light on who that is?
I'm just having a look down, and it looks like it's Chris Hill, I believe. He was in 27th position at the moment, 2 laps down. He's one of the new drivers to the community, so he's joining in and he's learning his craft.
Yeah, he was due to be in the BMW, and he's running the number 34, if memory serves me correctly. Is that right?
He's on number 59 at the moment, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, the thing is these numbers do change, but here is a replay, and that is the number 59 of Chris Hill. Big thank you to us broadcast director Mike Yao for picking that up. But Steen Paspont is actually getting quicker. That car seems to be coming a bit more alive. Now, we saw this last season, didn't we, when you saw the likes of Chris Crossman in the BMW, and the BMW seemed to struggle later on in the race, but then the Ginettas seemed to come alive, and I'm wondering whether, I mean, we're only the first race out of 6.
Yeah, I think there's, the cars are all very different animals, as you sort of mentioned earlier. There's the BOP system for the tracks, and the fact that they're harder on the tyres, and the fuel load goes down. Different cars react differently to the different weights, as we, There's no races finished till the flag waves, because all cars have got different characteristics, and the race comes to some of them. As we see, Aaron Walker now is closing right up. I'm just looking at the timings, and he's closing right up on Steve Haley. He's not giving up. He's got just under 4 minutes, and he's got about 1.5 seconds to go. So he's still trying.
Yeah, 25 on lap number 25. Stephen Haley did a 1:42.801, and then Aaron Walker a 1:42.612. So that gap is coming down by around about 0.2 of a second. We're into the last 3.5 minutes of this first of 6 rounds, when we head to Circuit de Catalunya Barcelona in just 1 week's time. And I like the fact, have you noticed something quite specific about the HF Impala cars? Where the number plates are, or on the front and rear bumpers, notice the fact they've got the words Paddock Hill.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah, so, and then they've got the Drive Tribe stickers either side of it. But it looks like that's probably to hark to Paddock Hill Bend, I think. If I'm sure I might get corrected on that by either one of them. But yeah, still pretty good seeing that sort of thing. And now the gap between Stephen Haley and Aaron Walker is just over a second, with just over 2 minutes and 40 still to go. It's going to be really close now. Gap's now down to under 8.5 tenths.
Yeah,
Aaron,
I may be eating my words at the end of this, because Aaron is doing an awesome job. He's less than a second, as you say, 0.8 behind Steve, and he's still closing, and he's looking a little bit tighter, and maybe a little bit tidier, dare I say it, than Steve as well. I think Steve's sort of trying to react to the pressure now.
Yeah, as they come through. This is going to be very, very close. So this is going to be the penultimate lap of the race. So they're running in the 1:43s. So we've got this and one more lap to go, as Chris Pinchbeck now gets a drive through for his troubles, obviously for track limits as well. So yeah, 0.6. I mean, Aaron's just closing that gap like it was absolutely nothing. Daniel Parker again goes, "Come on, Pixley, you can keep 10th, I believe." Well, not according to the timing there, Mr. Parker, I'm afraid, as Aaron Walker has now got that gap to just over half a second. There is Richard Pixley in the number 7 Ginetta, and just up ahead, Reese Hodges in the 77 Express Team UK Audi, doing a fantastic job. Now, he was right down towards the back end of the grid after qualifying, and he's just like taken opportunity after opportunity to make sure that he gets a good run, but it's going to put him on the back foot for race 2 next week at Barcelona, because he'd be like going, if it's like 3 other cars join the grid, He'll be like, what is it, 19th?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a sting in the tail for doing well in a race. You get put to the back of the grid for the next one, but it keeps the championship alive right to the end. Hopefully, as we see Aaron really applying the pressure now to Stephen, just trying to close that last half a second. He's probably got Amy whispering in his ear, "Come on, Aaron, you can do it." You know, he's something's motivating him, and it's certainly working, whatever it is.
Well, I hope it's not the teammate Shmeen mate comment from Ames earlier on today. But half a minute to go. We go now officially on to the final lap. And the gap between the pair is just over 5.5 tenths of a second.
And it has to be said, Steve has responded to the pressure. They both did a 1:42.5 on that last lap. There was literally a couple of thousandths or a thousandth in the gap between them. So it's he's responded and he's driving hard.
Yep, and also with Reece Hodges. Thank you very much, Mark Raddenbury, for saying that Reece is a multiple virtual RC world champion. No, that's fair enough. That's why he's good as what he does. Right, time's expired. Aaron Walker has not long to go, but I think at the end of the day, he's done a really, really good job trying to close up to his teammate, Mr. Stephen Haley, who is on the verge of taking the initial lead in the standings. And also, it will be a Simply Racing Team 1-2.
Absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. You know, I mean, the fact that Aaron's closed that gap up, I didn't think he'd get this close, if I'm totally honest. But he's an awesome job, and I think.
Sorry to cut across you there, Charlie Crossland battling away with Adam Isalovic. Now, Charlie, in the meantime, has got up to P12, and he's got a chance to get past the 111 Mercedes. So he nearly got the chance there, but these Mercedes just seem to have the legs on these cars with shorter wheelbases across certain parts of the circuit. So Isalovic trying to hang on as Dominic Tower runs wide. That could allow Angus Martin in the 863 AMR, as it's a 1-2 for Simply Racing Team, with Stephen Haley taking the win out of the first of 6 races here for Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4 Season 2 here at Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli. Aaron Walker takes second, ahead of Daniel Jim, who started alongside Haley on the front row. He takes third. Alan Garland back after a hiatus in fine style in 4th place, ahead of the number 69 Mercedes of Regan Mitchell. Team Fordzilla's Aaron Martin Pilkington in 6th, and it's going to be good news for Tim Fulbrook and Michael Haffenden, because the HF Impala BMW M4s both crossed the line in 7th and 8th respectively, ahead of the 444 Ginetta G55 GT4 of Steam Passport. Reece Hodges from Express Team UK and the number 77 Audi rounds out the top 10. Adam Isalovic in the 111 Mercedes 11th. Charlie Crossland from Team Fordzilla in 12th, ahead of Dominic Tower. Angus Martin in 14th. Cody Pride 15th. Gavin Utley will take 16th. Ranjith Kelsey, Ollie Gill and Rich Smith round out the top 25. Andrew Ambro will finish behind Gavin Utley. There's Richard Emery in the 115 numbered Audis. There's Ollie Gill, I think has just parked it, unfortunately. Richard Pixley will end up in 22nd. Now, what happened to him? He must have run out of fuel. I think maybe the case for John Aegis. There is Ranjith Kelsey and the number 47 Champ Racing Porsche. But what a drive, and what a way to kickstart season 2 here, Steve. A Simply Racing Team 1-2, Stephen Haley and Aaron Walker making it an Aston Martin 1-2, and it's an Aston Martin 1-2-3 with Daniel Jim in the number 71. What a way to kickstart season 2, would you believe?
That was absolutely fantastic. awesome race, and really well done to the guys, but not just to the top three, to the whole field. It was brilliant. I'm just reading some of the chat on the server, and Reese Hodges, who was a credible 10th place there, is asking if he gets extra points for being the top Audi. So, you know, well done, mate. That's all you get, I'm afraid, as an extra. It's just well done.
You get bragging rights there, Reese.
Yeah, but
and
no,
also...
it was fantastic racing. Great to watch, as I'm sure everyone enjoyed that stream. I certainly enjoyed it from where I was watching.
Yeah, I think that's very, very much the case. So I think hopefully very shortly I'm going to now head down to the interview booth and speak to a couple of drivers. So I'll be back in just a second's time. So let's have a chat with our race winner for race 1 of 6 for GT4 Season 2. Steve Haley, from lights out to checkered flag. Aaron was catching you in the dying stages, but you hung on and you kept it planted. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was quite confident with the decent qualifying position that we'd be able to hold a good pace. I thought Dominic Tower, I thought he was going to have to be perhaps in the first couple of laps, because I was slower into the first section. I think it was on the second set of corners onto the little back straight, but managed to keep hold of it. Towards the end, tyres started to give in a little bit, and I was watching, ever conscious of watching Aaron looming closer in me in my rear view mirror. But yeah, a good result, a good result for the team, and we'll take it on to the next one.
Yeah, very, very true there, Steve. But yeah, well done, congratulations, and all the very best of luck. I know it's reverse grid time for round 2 next time at Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. How you fancy your chances of having to fight your way through the field next week?
I don't know. We shall see. The big grids. So if we can make it up halfway through the grid, we've got a big long straight. So perhaps we will run a little bit of lower wing. The car seems to be pretty good around the flowing corners. So I'm fairly confident of a mid-pack finish, maybe, depending on how the race goes.
Okay, Steve, well done tonight. Congratulations. Steve
much.
Haley, who now takes the lead in the driver's standings here at Misano. Aaron Walker, our defending champion, is also with us. Aaron, a good way to start off your title defence, even with the number 1 being the sort of the impromptu target on the Aston Martin, but still a very good race initially between yourself and Daniel Jim for the run for second. But again, we've seen this from you last season, where you made your way forward, you kept on chasing. It was full throttle laps. It was like a qualifying session, only a 45-minute one thereof here at Misano. But to get that close to your teammates and for it to be a simply race 1-2, how are you feeling after the opening race of the season here at Misano?
Hey Alex, yeah, very pleased, very pleased. I mean, you don't catch up Steve very easily. As you said, had a bit of a battle with Daniel Jim. He did very well. I think he just made a mistake into the hairpin going onto the back straight, which left me a bit of a door open to get by. Pleased with that. And then obviously it was just well, in fact, I think there was a few shaky laps after that where Daniel was pressuring me, but after I settled down, I managed to get into a groove and start catching Steve. So yeah, to close the gap to that small by the end, very pleased.
Also switching from the Porsche to the Aston Martin for season 2. What's the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome into that?
It's a totally different car, Alex. This is not my type of car at all. It has a lot of low down grunt. The Porsche suited me perfectly, so I don't expect to do as well as I did last season. I'm certainly going to do my best. Obviously, we finished with a 1-2 here. Very pleased with that. If we can continue getting decent results all the way through, as Steve said, it's a big grid. So trying to get to the front through those grids is going to be almost impossible, but fairly confident we should do quite well. It's a good car. I just need to get used to it, really.
That's definitely words of a fighting champion there, Aaron. So all the very best of luck next week at Barcelona for round 2 of season 2 for GT4s.
Thank you, Alex.
So there we go. You heard it from the 1-2 leading the way in both the teams and the drivers' standings after the first round here of Assetto Corsa Competizione season 2 for GT4. Steve, what a way! GT4 has come back, and it's come back with a bang in Italy. I can't wait until next week at Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, as we said before we went on air, and I was excited for this. I thought it was going to be good, and the anticipation's been building because the lads had been putting the time in practicing. I'd been watching the times tumble, and I'd been watching the times get ever closer to each other, and it certainly didn't disappoint, did it? It was a fantastic race and some brilliant driving standards from everybody throughout the pack. As I said earlier, we've got a lot of new guys on there, as well as we always seem to attract a few guys in who want to have a go, and it's brilliant to see them doing well and having some good clean racing and battles. It didn't matter where you were in the field, you had a battle. There was very few cars running on their own in that race, so yeah, great, well done to our podium finishers.
Yeah, and as you can see, some of the comments, Chris Crossman's been spamming our timelines on YouTube at the moment, but yeah, thank you for watching, Chris. Thank you, everyone, for watching at the moment. Just a couple of things, bits of housekeeping before we go here from Misano. Don't forget, we are not that long away from the October 3rd 12-hour Nürburgring endurance, which will be raising money for Mind, which has been helping with regards to mental health problems for the last 60 years. And the total amount raised is close to £1,000. We pretty much have a capacity grid for GT3s. GT4s, still plenty of spaces available. Head to simsport-racing.com for further information. Steve, next week is going to be interesting, but I've just got to talk about briefly. We head to the Ardennes this coming Sunday to Spa-Francorchamps for the next exciting event for GT3. It is a 2-hour blast around Spa-Francorchamps. That is going to be brilliant this coming Sunday.
It's going to be awesome, and again, I've been watching the lads practicing on the servers. I've been seeing some absolutely fantastic times. Quite a few of the lads in the mid-16s and even the low 16s, and we have had one driver dipping into the 15s. So it's 2 hours, got to be consistent, got to be good. There'll be two mandatory pit stops. Tyres are optional, but you've got to take fuel in both, so it'll be interesting to see what strategy the guys take. So let's tune in on Sunday, because it's going to be absolutely awesome.
So join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Steve Proudley from Simsport Racing here for round 7 of what's going to be a fantastic season 3 for GT3. It's goodbye from Misano. We will see you this coming Sunday at Spa-Francorchamps, and tune into season 2, round 2 for GT4 next week as we head to sunny Spain and Barcelona. Thanks for watching, and have a good evening.
Never really saw you coming until you turned me around. Used to think I was nothing, but look at this love.